everyone's doing well. As you know, I love living in the United States of America, and I've seen every state tag at some point. I've been to 37 of the 50 states. So at some point driving around, I've seen every single state, including Hawaii. Never been to Hawaii, but I have seen Hawaii on the interstate at one point. So I'm going to share with you what I think the top to the worst license plate, starting with the worst. So number one is Texas. Texas is just kind of a boring license plate. This is a last license plate that I'd want to have on my vehicle. It's got a cool little Texas state symbol in the middle and the Lone Star State at the bottom, but it's just one color and it's pretty boring. So number 49 would be Delaware. Two colors again, pretty boring. Says the first state on the top, so Delaware, was the first state. Virginia, it's got kind of two colors, I suppose. The lighter blue at the top with the state name, and the darker blue with the numbers, with the license plate numbers. Massachusetts, I don't much like it. Kind of cool font at the top, but kind of just a boring license plate. The Spirit of America. I wouldn't really want to live in Massachusetts, so I wouldn't consider the Spirit of America, but I suppose each state has its own unique things, and there are things that I do like about Massachusetts as well. Wisconsin, kind of boring to have a cool barn up on the upper right hand corner, but kind of a boring license plate. America's Dairyland, it says on the bottom. California, I like the cursive writing, and they have the red and the blue lettering, so that's kind of cool. New York, similar to Texas, but it has Niagara Falls, then New York City, and the Statue of Liberty on the lower right, and then it has the state in between the numbers and the letters on the license plate. So New York is okay. It was a little bit hard to do this because from like about now till the top 10, they're pretty even. So, but this would be number 44. Connecticut, kind of cool with the two lettering, and they do have a picture of the state on the upper left. Constitution State, so they have some information on it. But I would rank this number 43. Number 42, Michigan. It's a pure Michigan, all one color. I suppose there's two colors. Lettering is one, and then the background is white. And it says Michigan.org on the bottom. I've seen multiple Michigan plates, but this is probably the most common that I've seen. Next is Ohio. Now this says birthplace of aviation. They always get in competition with North Carolina. And North Carolina has something about the aviation as well. But this is where I live. I don't much like the plates in Ohio. They have, again, more than one plate that you can get, but this is probably the most common that I've been seeing lately. New Mexico, Land of Enchantment. They have this cool symbol in the middle. I don't know what it means, but this one has 4 colors on it. The first state with 4 colors on it. Vermont, green's my favorite color. This one's pretty boring too, but that's the reason I rated this one 39. It's got this little tree on the top and Green Mountain State here. So it's just green and white, but it's the colors of the high school that I went to, and it's I like green, so that's why I put Vermont at 39 rather than 45. Illinois, they have some agriculture in the background with the windmill, and then looks like the Sears Tower, and some cityscape with Chicago, and then the Land of Lincoln on the bottom here. and it's a pretty colorful license plate. So that I rank number 38. Kansas. It has a cool decal on the back. Not sure what it is, but kind of cool with the colors, how they're arranged on the license plate. Iowa, they have some fields because obviously Iowa has a lot of prairie land and a farm. Looks like in some silos over here, but kind of boring too. Rhode Island, they have the ocean sand on the bottom, and then this is a wave because Rhode Island is known as the ocean state because it's really small, but it's pretty much all surrounded by ocean. Pennsylvania, I live closest to Pennsylvania. I'm in Ohio, but live pretty close to Pennsylvania. I never really liked Pennsylvania license plate that much. I rated it higher than Ohio at number 34. It's got blue and yellow, and then the lettering's in blue and white in the background. So it wasn't the worst license plate, but I just don't think it's that great. Indiana, these are getting to where it's pretty cool. They have a covered bridge on the bottom, and then a few different colors with the green of the farmland, and then the blue of the sky, and then the white background, and in the blue lettering. So I thought Indiana was number 33. New Hampshire, I thought it was cool with that rock face in the background. Then they have the slogan "Live Free or Die," which is something that I really like. I like that quote, and that's the reason I rated it at number 32. It's kind of a little bit boring, but it is. I rated it at number 32. Florida, they have some oranges on the background, which proves it's tropical, and then they have the state of Florida outlined here. I've always kind of liked Florida license plate, the Sunshine State, primarily I think because I used to vacation there, and that used to be one of my favorite places to go on vacation. West Virginia. So West Virginia I rated number 30. I live pretty close to West Virginia as well. They have a few colors here, 3 it looks like. The yellow, white, and blue. Sort of looks similar to Pennsylvania, but the reason I rated it at 30 ahead of Florida is because they have the wild and wonderful on the bottom. Thought that was pretty cool. Oregon, pretty cool with some trees here and some mountain peaks, and this tree in the middle is kind of a well-known license plate. North Carolina, first in flight. So North Carolina is always known as first in flight, but Ohio likes to take the claim of birthplace of aviation because the Wright brothers were born in Ohio, but they took their first flight in North Carolina. So North Carolina is number 29. Kentucky, it has a state in the middle. I like the 2 colors, the blue on the bottom, and then it turns white on the top, and then they have a horse because of the Kentucky Derby and Unbridled Spirit. They have that picture of the state in the middle there. I thought Kentucky's was pretty cool. Oklahoma, okay, and then they have a Dreamcatcher. New Jersey, the Garden State, which they don't have a lot of gardens in the state of New Jersey. I thought this was unique with the yellow on the top and then the white on the bottom and black lettering. I like the font of New Jersey at the top, and then they have the Garden State on each one, the picture of the state in between the lettering in the middle. Missouri, it's kind of a boring one, but they have one that was founded, so I think that's pretty cool, and I liked how it had red, white, and blue on in the Missouri license plate. Mississippi, I love that guitar in the middle, and it's a birthplace of America's music. Minnesota, I think the 10,000 Lakes is pretty cool on the bottom of Minnesota's license plate and the state symbol. A lot of these, as you're finding, are pretty similar license plate, but if you're in the United States, it's always cool seeing all the license plates you see when you go on trips, and you can play license plate games. So that's always a cool thing. Minnesota, I just thought was pretty neat license plate. Louisiana with the pelican in the middle and Sportsman Paradise. I like the font of the red up for the state writing. South Carolina, love the moon and the palm tree. But a lot of South Carolina doesn't have palm trees, but if you're around Charleston area, they do. But a lot of inland, they don't really grow palm trees too well. But I suppose they just have it because it's a cool thing to have on a license plate. Hawaii, this is one that unusually that I have seen, even though I've never been there. I love the rainbow, and it's very unusual. It's kind of a light baby blue color in the background. And I had a neighbor who was in the military, and previously he went to Hawaii and got a Hawaii license plate, and then brought his car back on a boat. So that's one of the places I've seen a Hawaii license plate. That's really the only time you'll see one, is if somebody's in the military, because typically if you're traveling from Hawaii to here, you probably just fly and rent a car unless you move. Washington, I thought this one was pretty cool with a volcano in the background and the Evergreen State on the bottom. It's pretty white, but I like Washington's license plate. Number 18 is what I rank it. Arkansas, they have a gym in the middle, and it says the natural state on the bottom. Purple, dark purple writing with the state of Arkansas. And then Georgia, the peach state. I travel down there a lot, considering my brother and his family lives there, and they have a picture of my magnolia tree and some peaches. So I like Georgia a lot. I like the license plate a lot for Georgia. So I'd rate it number 16. Nevada, you rarely see this one in Ohio, but because I've traveled out west, I've seen this one a few times on cars. And plus, sometimes if you're on the interstate, you're out 76, you'll see some out-of-state cars, and I think I've seen Nevada a few times. A lot of the people that live in Nevada live in Las Vegas area, but they don't really have any gambling or casino pictures on here. They mainly just have mountains on the background, and Nevada is also the driest state, and with the mountains in the background, and there's really not much grass that you can see. Maryland, I like how they incorporated the state flag on the background of Maryland. I think that's pretty cool. I rated it at number 14. A lot of these ones in the top 10 are in the west, but Maryland was one in the east, so I like Maryland. I rated it at number 14. Tennessee, the sunrise above the state, and then they have the volunteer logo, and they've got, it's a colorful license plate with the blue and then the green and the black and the yellow. So I rated Tennessee number 13. Maine, I like it. It kind of looks like a jungle, but it's not really a jungle. They have sort of a jungle in Maine, but it's more of like a northern forest. They have a lot of pine trees and deciduous trees, but in the background here they just have a lot of pine. But I've always liked Maine's license plate a lot. It's another eastern one. Alabama, I just think it's beautiful with the hills in the background, and then the lake and the pelican there. And Alabama is a really beautiful state if you've never been there. It's a nice one to see, and that's a beautiful license plate. Number 10 would be Colorado. They have a lot of snow-capped mountains, and that's what this is. It's really the only license plate with snow on it. I guess Alaska would too. But yeah, Colorado with the green and the white and the gray with the mountains and the rocks. I always like Colorado, and it's number 10. South Dakota, great faces, great places. They have on the bottom, and they have Mount Rushmore. which is probably the biggest tourist attraction in South Dakota. A lot of South Dakota is flat and a lot of prairie and farmland, but Mount Rushmore is a common place to visit if you're going out west to South Dakota. Montana, I just think it's really cool with the multicolors for those mountains up there. And then the state number 7 would be Nebraska. They have a picture of Chimney Rock here, and then looks like Omaha and Lincoln. So Nebraska's got a lot of farmland too, and they have a few cities, but it's a big state, and Chimney Rock would probably be the most well-known thing within the state of Nebraska. Alaska, I've been there, and this looks like they're rushing for gold and going into the mountains to rush for gold. And I went there, obviously, and saw this plate a few times. Obviously, they have a few different plates, but this was the most common one that I saw with the locals when going to Alaska. Wyoming, I love the cowboy and the mountains in the background. Some trees, and they actually have a picture. It looks like a real picture, not just a portrait, ingrained in their state sign. So Wyoming's number 5. Idaho. Idaho's a beautiful one too. When I was driving to Alaska and I was driving through Idaho, Idaho really stuck out to me as being one of the oldest states that there's really no flat land in the northern panhandle area of the state of Idaho. I think the southern part does, but this is pretty much how it looked, and we were pretty much driving on mountain ridges the whole time. Arizona, I really liked Arizona. I rated it at number 3. They have a cactus here. Never been to Arizona yet. I'll plan on getting there soon. But I love the purple and the sunset and the Grand Canyon State on the bottom. I think it's well deserved to be in the top 5. North Dakota, I rated number 2. North Dakota has a bison, and then it looks like the Badlands here, and some farmland in the background too. Another sun. I think this one's a sunrise, but North Dakota is a pretty boring state, but their license plate's pretty cool with the blue sky and then the prairie in the background and the buffalo. Utah would be my clear number 1 choice. So Utah's got a lot going on in the background. They have a lot of great arches, and Utah's known for its desert, and pretty cool natural vistas, and the mountain ranges in the background you can see here hardly, but it goes from blue sky to mountain ranges and then to desert, and that's just kind of the state of Utah. So yeah, those were the 50 states ranking from ranking from last to best. So Texas is the worst, and between that and then Utah is the best. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.